Tul Govinda for the wonderful. Tul Govinda is the founder Acharya of Krishna Cove.
Sounded it, I don't know about Acharya.
You founded and you Acharya it. This whole thing came about from, I think from some discussion we had somewhere. The next thing I know, here's Krishna Cove. And so that was how long? More like 13 or something. Anyway, I'm glad we're all still here and I'm glad you're here. Krishna Jivani's here. And yeah, it's good to have Yamuna back. I mean, it was like, without Yamuna, I mean, it's like Vrindavan without Yamuna, you know? It doesn't work. And Mohini Kishori, are you sure that's her? I mean, you know, it's been so long. We should really ask her for some ID, you know? She could be a Mohini Kishori impersonator.
Oh my goodness.
And Radha Sundari is here with her husband, Govinda Madhava. They took over the management of Krishna Cove like in 2018. They managed it and practically ran it into the ground. I mean, no, they kept it going and redecorated. I think you got the mural came under your rule, didn't it? Yeah. So anyway, we're moving ahead and now we've got our present manager. So it's being handed down. What we're looking for is we're training everybody to be servants of Krishna. But to do that, we want you to become leaders. We've demonstrated that. We don't just talk about it. Tul Govinda came and became a leader. Why? Because he wanted to. And so we opened doors and paved the way for him. Please take this desire to serve and lead. Govinda Madhava and Radha Sundari, they have the ability and the desire to lead. So they did. We empowered them. And then Kirtaneshwar is here. So I'm saying this because I want all of you to take some leadership role to the degree that you can. That to some people, that's makes you a little nervous. I don't know if I want to be a leader. And then there are some people who just are going to lead no matter what. You just have to get out of their way. So anyway, we encourage you. Don't ever think that you're being held back. We want you to inherit this movement and take it forward into the next generation. When all of the old Prabhupada disciples are gone, and that's not going to be that awfully long. So we need somebody. We're looking for replacements right now. So become pure devotee, step up, take the lead, take this movement over. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see everybody do. It's yours, it belongs to you. This is your inheritance. Srila Prabhupada founded this movement, and it is your inheritance. This belongs to you. It does not belong to any one person or any one group of people. Everyone, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, this is yours. Prabhupada meant this for you. Take it over sincerely and manage. Big things happen. So, let's move on to the voice in your heart. Oh, how do you like that title?
Yeah.
I hope I don't step on any toes when I say this, but I run across a lot of people who feel like, well, Jivas, I've already got the voice. It's telling me everything to do. There was a time about 10 or 15 years ago or something like that, it became spiritually fashionable to have a guide. Did any of you run across anybody that had a guide? You know, they'd do something kind of nutty and you'd say, why did you do that? My guide told me. Huh? You know, people had a guide. And I'm thinking, you know, anyway, I don't know. I don't want to go there, but it's just, you know, I'm thinking, why do you have a spiritual guide? Did your imaginary stop playing with you or something? No, you've got this, your own voice. Why are you so special? Nobody has a guide but you. You've got this guide, you know, some entity that's assigned to just watch over you. You know, like if I thought my grandfather was watching over me, I'd be scared to death. He was a demon. I don't get any help from my grandfather. He's moved on, another body with a whole other life right now. And so I kind of felt like there were special creatures that came to just guide them. Who knows? Maybe they do. But most of what we hear, the voices that we hear, are our mind. Mind is telling you. And you think, that's me. The mind says, I want this. I think because I am my body, that means I am my mind. I want this. So I interpret what the mind says. Sometimes we make a little bit more, it's spiritual advancement, but we're still confused. We still don't know what we need to know to make proper decisions. And so we start to realize my mind and I could be different. So this mind that's talking to me is a guide. You know, like God sent an angel just for me, because, you know, I mean, we know I'm special. So is this making any sense? Have you guys known anybody that had a guide? You know? Is it possible that some entity was assigned to talk to you? And maybe, who knows? But can this actually be a real phenomenon to actually get words from your heart? I mean, we know God can speak to you. Does he? And if he does, you're going to recognize it, or you're going to think it's your mind, or maybe your guide. Hey, guide, you're back. You know, you left about 5 years ago when it wasn't hip anymore. So now here you are again. So, but is there a possibility that God can be talking with you? What do you think? Anybody?
Yes.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he's speaking to you all the time. He's never stopped. He's got lots of things to say to you because he loves you dearly and you're the object of his attention. Now, he's God and he has unlimited living entities that are also the object of his attention. But because he's special, he can have every one of us be his absolute favorite. Because every one of us brings something completely unique into his world. We have a special thing that we do that no other living entity can do to enhance his ecstasy, which is our purpose for being. We're here to enhance the ecstasy of the source of ecstasy. And we're empowered to do that. It's not just like a fairy tale. I'm going to enhance source's ecstasy. You know, no. That is your function. You're empowered to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. It's like you're not surprised when you stick your key in your car and you turn the ignition and it starts. I mean, depending on your car. Mine's getting old enough. I'm starting to get surprised. But you know what I mean? No, you expect that. That's what it does for you. I stick the key in it, and it starts up, and then it drives me around. So it's what it's expected to do. That's its function. Well, this is what you're expected to do. This is your function. Enhancing the ecstasy of the source of ecstasy. You're empowered by that source to do that very thing. And you're not really good at anything else. You know? Can't do. It can take you here and there. It can do its purpose, but there's so many things it can't do. It's, think of some things your car can't do. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Cook.
Huh? Yeah, the car can't cook. What if it's a $500,000 car? Still not cooking. It's not meant to. You take it back to the dealership and say, my $500,000 car won't cook. He's going to say, get out. It's not designed to do that. You are not designed to do anything except enhance the ecstasy of the source of ecstasy. And you're empowered. That is your function. And when you're doing that, your function. But if you're trying to make breakfast or dinner, nothing's going to happen. Although that is interesting, the car that will cook. We could have made a lot of money if we thought of this years ago. So, something that we need to learn, we need to file it away in our memory. Devotional service to the Lord, or it's called bhakti, loving devotional service, is passed from one heart to another. It goes from heart to heart because this heart region of our bodies is where the soul lives. You live in this vicinity here. And so, bhakti, you cannot get it. Go sit out in the desert or the Himalayas and meditate and om for a long time and get devotional service. Devotional service is a personal thing. First of all, most people that feel that they have to go out and be alone, ascetics, they're not looking for pure love of Godhead. Are they? They don't start out looking for it. Come on, we've all known a lot of yogis. I've met a lot of them. That's not where they're going. They're not. Come to my yoga studio, guaranteed pure love of Godhead within 5 months or money back. Nah, you're not going to find that. It's not where they're trying to take you. You see, and they don't advertise that. So that's fair. You see, if you're going to get bhakti, it has to come from someone who actually has it. You've got to get close enough to that soul to where there is some soul to soul communication. This bhakti is passed from one individual to another because it's a very personal thing. Bhakti is personal, loving, devotional service. So anything you do that's loving, it's very personal. Let's kind of drill down and define that a little bit. When I'm doing personal, loving, devotional service to you, then I need information. Because in the bhakti mode, I want to do what you want. I don't really care about what I want is to do for you out of love. So I need to learn. What do you like? Does he like does he prefer spicy or dull or not so spicy? More of this, less of that. I need to get personal with you, see? And that way I can serve you. So devotional service or bhakti is a personal, loving attitude. You have to have that. To do that and to be effective at bhakti, I've got to know you. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw stuff out. It's like, did anybody here ever have a birthday? A birthday, you get a gift from somebody, and you look at the gift and you think, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. How did you know? I didn't tell anybody. I didn't drop any hints, but you got into my head and maybe heard a comment here or observed this or whatever, and you came up with something personal. How did you know that I needed and wanted this? Isn't that, have you ever had that happen? It's very flattering, isn't it? Like, it kind of takes your breath at first, because you're expecting to open, it's just an aftershave or something. And you look and you see this wonderful gift and it's personal. Why, this is exactly what I needed / wanted. So this is the nature of bhakti. I want to serve you with loving devotion. So therefore I have to know, what can I do that will make you happy? So if we want to perform loving devotional service to Krishna, we have to find out, what can I do to make him happy? How can I perform my eternal function of enhancing his ecstasy? I need to learn about this guy, so that I can give him a personalized service. So, to start on our path towards and all other living entities, we must first encounter someone who has it to give to us. This logic makes sense, right? How do you get it? You want to be a doctor. You went to medical school, didn't you, Krishna Jivani? Psychology school. Oh, God, that's worse. You ever think she's examining you whenever you're talking to her? She's making these notes.
No.
And then she says, how did that make you feel? But you had to learn this, you had to go to a psychologist, didn't you? You had to find somebody that had it to pass it to you. So it's not that, well, I'm going to go out in the middle of the desert and sit out there or stand out there on one leg long enough to learn how to be a great psychologist. I'm going to get my PhD out here away from the rest of the world. Doesn't happen that way. So, same thing is true in your pursuit of Godhead. You got to find somebody who has knowledge to give you. Hopefully, a lot of people, as many people as possible, that can give you real knowledge. Not so, or gee whiz, I think, or you know what ought to be. None of that. The absolute truth. If in fact that's what you want, maybe you don't want the absolute truth. Some people don't. They would rather be kind of like have one foot in the spiritual world and one foot in the material world, and not really make a commitment, full commitment to either one. I see a lot of people like that. That's okay. If we can associate with them long enough, they're going to put both feet in the spiritual world and inquire about bhakti. They're going to learn about bhakti and perform bhakti. So this bhakti, according to Lord Chaitanya, is something that's like planted in your heart. Again, why in the heart? Because that's where you are, the soul. It's planted like a seed. It's called the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of devotion. And so if it's planted by someone who has the seed to give you, and then if it's nourished by chanting Hare Krishna, hearing about God, hearing about Krishna and his pastimes. Why? Because I need to learn something about him because I want to do some service, personal service. So I need this about Krishna. What is it for me? You see, where's my relationship with him going to go? Try to plan what you want rather than just daily bread. He'll give you daily bread. Don't worry about that. Work on more important things. He's going to feed you. So work on more important things. How can I rediscover my dormant love for you and demonstrate it? That's the purpose of human life. So as we become sincere, our minds are focused on service to Guru and Krishna. Excuse me. As we become sincere and our minds are focused on Guru and Krishna, the Lord promises to help us by revealing knowledge from within our hearts. He actually makes that promise. He says, first, give me some sincerity. That's all he wants. And it doesn't take full sincerity. It's not like Krishna's not going to make a step till you're fully sincere. No. All it takes is a whiff of sincerity. You know, how much sincerity are we capable of producing anyway? We've been away from this loving atmosphere, this transcendental loving atmosphere so long that the definition of sincerity may be different from what it really is in the world of true love. In the world of real eternal love, sincerity isn't something that you have and then it goes away. You become sincere, isn't it? Fall in love with your beloved, you stay in love. It doesn't go away. Sincerity, love, faithfulness. I mean, these things stay once you get them. So, but all it takes is just a little tiny bit of sincerity. And so to Krishna, that's like blood in the water, a shark smelling blood in the water. He tastes a little bit of sincerity and he immediately sends his devotees. He'll set up a situation where you can go all the way. Not just become good, a good spiritualist or a good devotee, but to go all the way, to become a pure devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee. In other words, to regain your lost personality. And he wants to uncover that personality because he wants to enjoy your charming personality. He's looking forward to it. So he's going to help any way possible, but he won't force. Love is just not real. So where does he say this? Krishna says this. I want to see it. He says it in chapter 10. Krishna says, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. This is true. This is what devotees do. This is a symptom of devotion. It's a symptom of ecstatic love. My heart can quit thinking about the guy. Something I see in Govinda Madhava might remember of some service to Krishna. Your service reminds me of Krishna. You see? Why projects that we're going to do together remind me of Krishna. Everything reminds me of Krishna if I let it, you see. So Krishna says that you'll derive great satisfaction from this thinking of Krishna, his pastimes. Thinking, I mean, we spend a lot of time thinking what a rascal he is. As you get closer and closer, at first, isn't it like this? At first, it's always like awe and reverence. We're dealing with God. And then it's God, but it's Krishna. Then it gets to the point where it's just Krishna. The closer you get, the more of his pranks that you have to deal with. You realize, what a guy, you never know what to expect. Expect the unexpected. He's dependably undependable, but totally dependable. So, yeah, Krishna says that my devotees, they like to talk about me. They like to chant my names. You see? Well, it gives me great pleasure because I'm always thinking of them. It's not like you're chanting Hare Krishna and God is somewhere up there on a cloud somewhere or over the clouds. And he's not even knowing that you're chanting. No, he knows when you're chanting. He knows everything about you. He's fully interested in you because he's completely in love to a depth that we really and truly cannot understand. The depth of love that Krishna has for us. So in the very next verse, text 10, Krishna says, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. If you're constantly devoted to serving me with love, I'll give you the understanding by which you can come all the way to me. Some people feel like, oh my God, I'm so fallen, I could never become pure. So even God doesn't have the power to make you pure? You are pure. You, the soul, cannot become contaminated. You're not some little thing that sprung up in the womb. You didn't have your beginning there. You're not part of the material energy. You weren't born out of the material energy. But you're part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna never becomes impure. Neither does his part and parcel, you. But our consciousness becomes impure. When we come to this material world, we need some shelter, so we take shelter of the material energy. And we start to exploit the resources here. I'm trying to exploit before you exploit. Well, that's been going on for forever. This is what the inhabitants of the material world do. So, Krishna says, if you're constantly devoted to serving me with love, I'll give you the understanding. I'll send it to you. First, I'm going to send you Guru. First, that's the first step. Now, there are different kinds of gurus, though. A guru isn't just a guru. There are different kinds. So the very first person that gives you this philosophy, he is your guru. One of your gurus. Bartman Production. The Bartman Production guru. He's the one who gives you this. You hear it from him first. Wow. So then after that, there's Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru is a teacher. Well, he's maybe someone more senior, and they teach you, he or she, they teach, and they're instructing. And then if you become really sincere and you want to go further, then you find Diksha Guru. Now, there's some people in the world that are trying to merge those two together, but it's not doable. You can't merge the two together. They serve side by side. Diksha and Shiksha Guru serve side by side, but they don't interchange. So you need that eternal commitment. One big difference. A lot of people don't think of that when they're arguing about this Shiksha Diksha. Does the Shiksha Guru make an eternal commitment to you? No. Diksha Guru makes an eternal commitment, and that doesn't mean 100 years. It's not like a 99-year lease, because even a 99-year lease will expire. But the Diksha Guru makes an eternal commitment to you and to Krishna that no matter what, I will continue to come back to this material world to get you. I will help you eternally. You want to go back to Godhead? We all want to go back to Godhead, right? We want to go see Krishna and follow, play in Vrindavan, wrestle, take sumptuous prasadam, be with Krishna. And so that's what we want, and that's what we're entitled to. Diksha Guru makes a commitment that no matter what, there's nothing you can do to keep me from coming back to get you if you fail on this path for eternity. It will take an eternity, for you to go back to Godhead. Well, for most of you, it won't take eternity. That was meant to be mean. Well, you're getting tough in your old age. She didn't even stick her lip out. So Krishna says that. I'll give you the understanding by which you can come to me. In the next verse, he says to show them, that's you, special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. I'll talk to you from your heart. I'll do it. Just get it started. Figure out what your spiritual goals are. You may say, well, I don't want to make that decision now. I'm an eternal living entity. I've had billions of lifetimes already. Why not have a few more before I make this step? So that's legitimate, isn't it? The only thing is, there's no guarantee. Next life, destination unknown. What do you know? Where are you going? What kind of difficulty can we fall into in this material world? We have to be serious about the difficulties that the material world presents. So, and decide if this liberation, if leaving the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death, is that really for you? If you really want to do that. If you don't, then I guess nothing really matters. But if you do, then you need to make plans. How do I get off this cycle, this repeated cycle? So, it says here, in the preliminary stage of devotional service, they, us, relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. In the beginning, when we first take up this loving devotional service, it's so sweet that we become attached to the service. Like just doing the service is very wonderful. What we don't really know is that as we perform this service, associate with like-minded people who are also performing the service, as we take prasadam, hear of Krishna, chant his names, pure loving devotional service turns into pure love of Godhead. So, question is, this is something to ponder. When you get pure love of Godhead, are you going to know it? Think about that. Are you going to feel like, wow, I made it? Now I have pure love of Godhead. If it was a position, like being president of the company, it would be different. But this is a pursuit of love. It's pursuit of the love that is associated with bhakti, the performance of bhakti. And in the mood of bhakti, I want to please my beloved to the point that I will never be satisfied with my offering. Pure love isn't like, well, look, I did this, you ought to be satisfied with it. It's all you're getting from me, all right? Shut up, leave me alone. Imagine telling that to your wife. Wow. No, there's no point in pure love when you're going to get to and say, that's it, I'm in. That's all you get. That ought to be enough. No, you're always going to feel like it can never be enough for me to demonstrate my love. So when you get it, you're not going to say, wow, I made it. Okay, is there going to be a 3? I know we did 1 and we did 2, so. So, let me pause here and see if there's any questions, comments. Are you hearing voices? Nice. Is your guide back? Yeah, to Govinda.
Thank you for the beautiful class. Yeah, I was thinking, like we never will feel like we actually have love for Krishna. Our offer is never enough. But at the same time, there's some key identifiers from like talking about like the fact that I definitely don't have pure love of God. Like I heard him saying, if we have some envy towards other living entities, that's a test. If you have envy towards others, then you're obviously not very advanced.
Right.
Or like he would say, like if you have a high temperature, if you have a lot of material desires, that's a clear indicator that you're not the transcendental life. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's precisely true. So many things as you chant Hare Krishna and practice Bhakti Yoga just melt away. It's like if you take an ice cream cone out in the sun in Arizona, it starts to melt away, So all of the impurities that have surrounded your consciousness start to drop away as you chant Hare Krishna, associate with the devotees, take prasadam, hear about Krishna, learn more about Krishna. So all of these anarthas, unwanted things, start to go away. I mean, sometimes we hold on to them a little bit, but basically they're being taken from you because your pure state of mind is starting to come alive again. So how can an eternal lover of Godhead be envious of someone else? It doesn't work. Well, you're looking out for the benefit of all other living entities. Why? Why would you do that? Why would I look out for the benefit of all other living entities? Is there a reason why I would do that or why I should? Because it's what my beloved would be pleased for me to do. Krishna will think, oh, you're looking out for everyone else so nicely. That's such a demonstration of your love for me. By loving everyone else, that's a demonstration of your love for me. You're not going to be able to just love Krishna without loving everyone else too. It doesn't work that way. And that means you've even got to love the ones that maybe they don't vote for the guy that you want them to vote for. You know, they're not for the causes that you feel motivated to champion, you know. So in other words, you got to see through the material, see the pure spirit soul. They're part and parcel. They're beloved by Krishna. He loves all of us. So we become very interested in the well-being of others, not just feeding them. And no, we want everyone to be happy. And we have that formula on how to make everyone happy. We know we've been doing this. We've all been doing this for a long time, haven't we? This ain't your first rodeo, is it? You've been around the block a few times. You know? How many souls have you helped become not just happy, but I mean really happy? Change their lives. Change their entire destination. That gives you great pleasure. Mostly because it gives Krishna great pleasure. Whenever you do something that gives Krishna great pleasure, not that you're doing it for the pleasure, but you get great pleasure when you do something that pleases him. I mean, that's what it's all about with us anyway. We want to please Krishna. We want to demonstrate our love. So by loving all living entities, that's a real step in the right direction. Say, oh, this is very nice of you. I can see that you're doing this for me. You're trying to serve the other parts and parcels for me. You're becoming my instrument. I want everyone to come back home to me. And yet here you are helping them. Well, this is very nice. That makes me very happy. You see, when we do something like this, it's not that we're looking for, well, Krishna's going to give us a raise or something, or promotion. All we want is to do it. It's like Prabhupada says here. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, we relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. Just being able to perform the service is such a sweet taste. Becomes completely addictive. That's all you want to do. So, yeah, good point. Yeah, very Sachi.
Would you say that Krishna shows up unpredictably sometimes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I should be expecting. It's my lack of full knowledge of him is that he shows up unexpectedly. And I should realize that I should have been expecting him. Sometimes I am in areas. Most of the time, it's like, wow, you're here to help. Well, wait a minute, you were never not here. Yeah, so Krishna, he's always with us, always, constantly absorbed in our relationships. Once in a while, we realize it.
And how would this be different from like a guide?
It's never been explained to me, pardon me, because I know I'm not the brightest guy in the room, okay? It's never been explained to me what a guide is. I mean, is it like little angels that sit on your shoulder, or you have like some spirit? I've asked people this. This phenomena seemed to pass about 5 years ago. There for a while, you talked to people and they had guides, you know. So,
I know what guides are.
what are they?
So there's the spirit, there's the material world, and there's the spirit world, and then there's God, overarching, unfathomable God that kind of like, overarches everything. Departed souls linked are there, and that includes animals. And so animals, spirit animals, will choose you to guide you. It could be a wolf, it could be a fox, it could be an owl.
So,
It could
yeah,
be-
I've heard that exact explanation before, but it doesn't work that way when you get a little bit of knowledge of how things work, you know. If any of us want to keep on hanging on to stories like that, like maybe you'll get a wolf guide or a squirrel guide or whatever like that, then stay away from Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam tells you how things really work. And then, once you get that, then you can see that none of the rest of this works. And Krishna says to think that there's a different soul living in the body of a squirrel or a dog than there is in a human is in the mode of ignorance.
A different soul or, a different soul.
Yeah, soul, you've got Krishna and you've got innumerable souls. So many you can't even imagine. Some of those souls come to the material world and get entangled in the material energy, and due to their activities based on their desires, they take different bodies. So it's not like you've got little doggy souls walking around the spiritual world. I mean, it's possible if you wanted to be a dog for Krishna, then it's possible that you could take the form of a dog in your service to Krishna. But it's not like when animals die, they have animal souls. So you've got you see what I mean? There's just souls. I mean, are there white people's souls and black people's souls? Italian people's souls? No, they're just souls. Sometimes we take these human bodies. Most of the time we're lingering in animal bodies because there's a lot more animal bodies than there are human. There's 400,000 species of human in the material world. And there's 8 million forms of animal life. So most of the time on our journey through this material world, we're in the body of an animal. Just once in a while, we work our way up the ladder of consciousness and we get a human body. You see? So no, I've heard that explanation, but it doesn't fit. I don't know a bona fide, maybe just because I'm ignorant, but I don't know of a bona fide spiritual path that would confirm that. I would say, yeah, according to our guru, our sadhus, and our Shastra, that's absolutely true.
It's like Native American spiritual tradition. They kind of act as a conduit between the spirit world. So like give you messages, give protection. That's just what I heard.
Yeah, what is that? Man, that's a style of religion. What is it?
Shamanism.
Help me with it. What is that? To worship the creation, to worship God's creation as the all in all is pantheism. Pantheism. It's pantheistic. Doesn't mean that they're all full of it, but their level of graduation and spiritual understanding hasn't that where they can understand. I mean, they didn't have a Srimad Bhagavatam. To my knowledge, there weren't any great gurus or sadhus that taught. You see, it's just what they believe. There's no lineage to it. So it's a step towards understanding, spiritual understanding. But we can't stop right there and say, this is spiritual understanding. This is mature spiritual understanding. It's not. You can look at many of the different faiths are like a staircase. One has a more expanded consciousness than another one. you see. So it's not like there's just, yeah, I mean, like they've got their thing that's true, and he's got his thing that's true. There's absolute truth, but then there are steps to acquiring that absolute truth. Does that make any sense? Like, I fully respect the Native Americans.
Well, I'm not into it, I just.
Yeah. No, I mean, I fully respect it. But I can understand it only takes so far. It's only meant to. But good point. What else?
Krishna's the ultimate guide to the Paramatma. But then sometimes we see like great souls also will be able to, like Krishna like expands into beyond every living entity in existence, but sometimes great souls can also be spiritually attentive. Like we have a group of Goswami, Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Sometimes a spiritual being can attend to some person in the realm.
Any of these great souls, the liberated souls, they can make that appearance when you need them. I mean, it's not like you're going to have your own personal Rupa Goswami that's going to live with you and be your guide, but he'll be there. But it's not a cheap thing. You know, you don't fill out an application on the internet, get a guide. It's not a cheap thing. Due to your sincerity in your heart to serve Guru and Krishna further, Rupa Goswami could appear to you, tell you, do this, do that. But Arjuna says, please instruct me. Please give me the knowledge that'll bring me to you. You get in that frame of mind, there's no telling who may show up. You get that sincere, you know. Well, Prabhupada saw Narada Muni. Many of you've had Prabhupada visit you in dreams, I'm sure, haven't you? Well, maybe not you. You gotta keep chipping away. She'll be mad before the use. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. It's not a cheap thing. It's not like I was chanting Om last night and then I fell asleep, but then I woke up this morning and I had this guide and he wouldn't let me alone. He was telling me all these things. Oh man, I don't think so. Many people have never met a fully spiritual individual. Most people never have. Yeah.
I'm not classified as a guide, but I know that a lot of people certainly have entities that guide them in other ways, not so positive ways. Let's just say.
Yeah. Bhutas.
Yeah.
The ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts are real. Ghosts are souls that, due to their activity, when they left their human body, they had no body waiting for them. I ain't got no body. Yeah. For whatever reason, suicide is, but you still want to enjoy. So these souls that find themselves in the ghostly position, they need your senses to enjoy. You know, this is a real thing. The Catholic Church has recognized that. For many religions understand this. If you're atheistic, well, I believe in souls or anything, you know. Demons, good guys, bad guys, it's just all one thing. But we learn about these entities that come, and they don't have a positive influence. Sometimes they wreck people's lives. Did you have a question?
I did. I don't know if this is appropriate, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
I
So
like that spirit.
when you speak of, you have to love all entities and that this will make Krishna happy. I had a very abusive childhood, and the person who was my main abuser, are you supposed to know? That's my struggle. Like, I'm like, how do I feel love for someone that physically, emotionally hurt me as a child? And then there's all these other people, right? So can you give advice on how to give that love to someone that has, come with you?
This is a very real situation. I had an abusive childhood too, and so I understand what you're talking about. I don't know if it was more. How much does it take? So, looking back at like some of the things that, like for instance, my stepfather, who was like a demonistic critter. How do I forgive him for the things that he did to me and my mother? Well, it's not for me to forgive. Who am I? I mean, am I the great forgiver? And to forgive, you need to be able to forget. Well, that's kind of artificial sometimes to just say, hey, just forget about it. If you were talking to someone about the rough time that you had earlier in life, and they said, look, just forget it. Wouldn't you be just a tiny bit, I don't know, not really insulted, but bothered? You want me to take that and just forget it. Well, time is going to take it away from you anyway. The memory will go away. And the suffering itself has already been taken away by time. It doesn't exist anymore. It's only a memory. And our memories aren't always accurate. When you think back of how things were, they may not be. You compare notes with someone that was there with you, and they may have a little bit of a different story. Not that you imagined it, but you see it differently from time to time at different. You see? So in other words, time has taken it away. So we might as well see if we can let it go and look for the benefits. I think there were a lot of benefits to the way I grew up. Now, it wasn't warm and fuzzy, but I got a lot of positive things from it. First of all, I learned how not to behave. That's pretty valuable. I learned how not to treat people. And it made me a little tougher, to deal with life as I grew up. So, but how do we forgive that person? We just have, or persons. We just have to say to yourself and to them somehow or other that as much as I can today, I forgive you. And tomorrow, maybe I can forgive you a little bit more. And ultimately, this is all going to go away. I'm not going to be able to hang on to it. Time is pulling it from your grip, you see. And it's really unimportant because you live through it, here you are. You're actually better for it, So, forgive them as much as you can, whenever you can. And it made me think, what if you met the person today? Would you waste any time saying, you did this and you But you even, so then, here I am, here you are. I'm not the judge. Karma, I'm not going to judge. They're going to get their just rewards. You see, karma takes care of everything. So, but our attitude is, I don't want them to suffer the way that they caused me to suffer. You know, the devotee thinks, I don't want it to be like a level playing field. Because you hurt me, you have to be hurt on that level. The devotee gets to the point when he starts to feel his love for Krishna and the other living entities that he feels like, I don't want you. If there's any way I could talk Yamaraj out of giving you this bad karma that you are earned from giving this to me, then I would do that. I don't want you or anybody to experience this. We can start thinking like that. That helps us a great deal. But ultimately, it's all finished. Time has stolen it.
Can I
Good
add
subject.
something to that?
Why, sure.
My understanding is that when someone hurts you, it's because they've already been hurt that same way, and they're just carrying it on to you. The parent of the child, and their parent was like that.
That's possible.
So it would make sense not to want them to be hurt again, because they've already been through it already.
But that's no excuse for them to misbehave and treat you poorly.
But we're also learning to take more and more responsibility for how we got ourselves into this, how we get it out, how we get out of it.
Yeah,
Later on.
we've got to own it. I got myself where I am from my actions, which were based on my desires. So whatever trouble I find myself in, and I'm the ticket, I got myself here. Krishna wants to send you so many tickets to get you out. People to help you get out. But it was through our choices that got us where we are. But that's okay, because here we are, chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasadam. We're winners. We've made it. We're not long for this world. We're leaving this place. And that's another thing to think about when we think of the past, abuse in the past. That is so over. All of this stuff is so over. We're getting out of this place. We're going to be released from prison. We're going to go back to Krishna. So, whatever's happened in this journey of mine, none of it matters. The only thing that matters is that we're here now, and we're going to stay. All right, anything else? Yeah.
So, when you have your parents and they are still in the material world and they haven't liberated, you need to perform the after death rituals, so Vedic rituals, and say like that. And then if they treated well, if they don't get good Vedic rituals, they may troubles to you or people in this world. If they get liberated and they may help you. So kind of how true is that and how does it in evolution?
I didn't follow all of what you said.
After death, those your parents, grandparents, they need to perform basic rituals in a nice way so that they get
certainly want to do that. Yeah, you certainly want to perform the Vedic rituals. But if you become liberated, if you go back to Godhead, they go too. guaranteed. What is it, 10 generations forward and 10 generations back? They're liberated too. So the main thing is, rather than us staying here, hoping to get help
And
from,
the thing about during troubles, if they are not liberated or get help if they are liberated.
doesn't matter. Whether they're liberated, doesn't matter where they are. They may be in some sort of a hellish situation right now, or in some animal body. You go back to Godhead, they go with you. That's the only thing that matters. Get out. Find the escape to the material world. Leave it. They'll go with you. Otherwise, what's the guarantee? We should do that. We should perform the Vedic rituals. Definitely, but scenario when I'm on a plane, you know? Yeah, the mask come down, put the mask on you first, and then help someone up. First, save yourself. You get yourself all tidied up, they're gonna be just fine. They're going back to Godhead with you.
People fear that like if you don't perform this well, I mean I'm not performing. Don't perform with sincere. If any troubles that God can kind of contradiction say fear they put in mind. Even God cannot help you. Yeah, that's help.
Yeah. All right, what do you say we wrap it up? Thank you so much for coming.